It's past 8. Welcome back to Sunrise Daily, where we'll turn our attention now to the state of the economy. Well, yes, you heard so many comments from different quarters, including those who say, well, we'll talk about that now. We're joined by Nweke Jr., who is the Director General, National Economic Summit Group, Nigeria Economic Summit Group. That's NESG. Thank you for coming on this morning again.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Well, interesting perspectives coming through from here and there. Lots of comments about how the economy, not too strong, a little shaky. You heard the comment from Edo State Governor, Adams Oshomole. Progressive governors have also spoken. Some even cite the comment of the CBN governor saying the economy is weak. I know you've seen all of this and heard most of this, but the bottom line, what some picked from this is that the economy is weak, shaky, almost collapsing. What do you think?
It's very interesting. Well, I can say very clearly, without fear of contradiction, that the economy is not collapsing. I don't think that that's a good way to frame whatever your concerns might be about the Nigerian economy.
How would you frame it?
This economy can do better. Our economy can do a lot better. If the leakages within the system continue to be managed, if the leakages within the system are plugged, okay, if this economy is diversified on a continuous basis, we've seen progressive improvements in growth of the non-oil sector of the economy, okay? That's positive, that's very good. We've seen the inflationary trend in the economy coming down. That's positive, okay? Would we like to see lending rates drop? Absolutely, okay? So there's so many things that would we like to see employment generated, many more people put in jobs? Yes. But you cannot say that on account of some of these challenges that the economy is collapsing.
One of the challenges he highlighted is that he says, according to him, quote, "It is no more the matter for debate. We are 10 months into the new year and oil has performed very well at about $105 to $110 per barrel throughout 2013, which means that if we have budgetary provision of $79, we ought to have a surplus of about 30%, which should be in the crude account. But rather than having this surplus, we are witnessing a situation where federal allocations no longer come as at when due. States can pay salaries." That's what he's saying.
Well, you know, for me, listen, the budgets, annual budgets of any nation, of anybody for that matter, whether it's a company or an individual, a family, these are statements of intent, things you would like to do, depending on your revenue profile, okay? And even as individuals or as people who have run institutions or who run organizations, you may not always get the revenues that you project, okay? And then if you have not gotten the revenues that you projected, naturally you have to make adjustments. That's what must happen. I tell you something, and this is my personal view. I wish something will indeed happen to Nigeria's oil. Let there be no more oil in this country today. That would be my personal view, all right? Because today, a situation where people are sitting down as governors, as states, and all you can say for yourself is that every month you go somewhere and bring money, and then you come and distribute it any way you want in a most unaccountable manner. That's your view of governance. I have a problem with it. Okay? So for me, I think that whatever the situation may be today, it challenges the states, the governors, to be a lot more innovative. Okay? Today, you still hear people talking about creation of more states, when most of the states in Nigeria today are not even viable.
You've also heard, you know,
they're not viable.
You've also heard what the governors say about how every resource under the ground belongs to the federal government, and how that in itself, too, is not a viable statement, in the sense that some other states want to go into production of other things, but they can't seem to do that. For instance, Ondo State says they have the largest deposit of bitumen almost anywhere in the world, and they simply can't explore that. Why? The resource belongs to the federal government, and the federal government doesn't seem to be willing, or doesn't have the time, or for whatever reason hasn't deemed it fit to explore whatever bitumen is in Ondo State.
Those are constitutional matters. Those are constitutional matters.
The same thing with
FAAC.
FAAC.
And we are in the process of a constitutional review. And so the governors or the state governments constitute a very powerful lobby. And so I believe that they have a very unique opportunity to push for changes in those aspects of our constitution. All right? That's it. But that does not in any way, okay, exculpate you from responsibility for innovative mobilization of resources within your state.
Doesn't it hamper somewhat?
It's an issue. It's something that I'd like to have addressed. There's a whole lot of things that can be decentralized. Okay? There's a whole lot of things that can be decentralized. And that's an issue for debate. That's an issue for debate. There's no doubt about it. My problem, personal problem, our problem at NESG is this seeming over-attribution of responsibility to a federal government. Okay? Nigerians live in the states. The states have tremendous resources. Some of these states have done very well with the resources that are allocated to them every month. Visibly so, you see it. You go around, you see it. A lot of them have not. And I'm saying that we have issues of accountability. You cannot begin or continually tell the people of your state that the reason why you're not doing well is because there is some shortfall in the revenue that should come to you from the federal government.
What do you think? What do you make of the transparency, you know, or the accountability of Nigeria's own oil company, the NNPC?
Well, for me, I really believe that successive governments, you know, including ourselves, have expressed concern about the situation in the Nigerian National Oil Corporation. Okay, it's common knowledge.
That's NESG.
Yes, it's common knowledge. Okay, and I believe that is why the Nigerian Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative was put in place some years back. I remember I was in the cabinet at the time. The whole idea was to hold the entire sector, okay, accountable for the resources that are mobilized from oil.
And what are we saying now? What we're saying now is, we're even from friendly state. Let's assume that, you know, the governor of Edo State is in the state of the opposition. He's an ACN governor, you know, and he's saying that the NNPC owes the Federation account 2.3 trillion naira. The NNPC has denied that. But we've also seen the governor of Delta State, Emmanuel Oduanga, talk about the NNPC not being as accountable as he should be to the Federation account. So we're wondering what exactly is going on with the NNPC. This is also coming at a time, you know, when we've had debates, you know, about whether or not the NNPC was broke at a certain time. Even NATI, that you mentioned during the hearing, came out to say NNPC was owing so and so amount. And what did we get from the NNPC?
The solution to all of this is the passage, or at least let me say one of the solutions, an important step in the solution to this problem is the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill, which has been in Nigeria's National Assembly for going on 6 years now. That's a solution. A key aspect of that bill, okay, is the significant reforms in the National Oil Company. A situation where the National Oil Company of Nigeria will be run like its peers around the world in an open and transparent manner, where there will be a board that will be accountable to shareholders, to the owners of the business. As long as the Petroleum Industry Bill remains unpassed, we will continue to have these kinds of complaints and concerns about the Nigerian National Oil Company. And so I hope that the governors, okay, who are expressing these concerns will also encourage their representatives in the various arms, in the National Assembly, to really throw their weight behind the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill. It is scandalous that a bill that was going to shepherd reforms in such a key sector of our economy remains in our National Assembly for going on 6 years. It is scandalous.
Are you also saying
an embarrassment to both government and to the entire nation? Okay, that bill remains, and it is the National Assembly. The governors have representatives there, and so the concerns, I repeat, that they now express. What have they done to encourage their representatives to even call them to account to say, what's going on there, guys?
So will it be addressed if this bill was to be passed?
It will be a significant step in really reforming the oil sector, Nigeria's oil and gas sector. It will be a significant step in that direction.
You know, in all of this,
it will be a significant step.
You know, I try to think the way the ordinary Nigerian would want to think when we say Nigeria is not broke. And you get to listen to some politicians, people who are in the government, whether they're progressives governors, new PDP governors, whatever name everyone have chosen to call, but people in authority are speaking up, and they say, if you haven't been able to pay us what you owe the state since July, and well, I'll give you a direct figure here. So the arrears continue to mount by the day. As of today, the states are being owed 336 billion naira, with the 75 billion naira being the balance of the July 2013 arrears. So Barajay is saying that these are monies owed to the states. And if the government at the center hasn't been able to pay them these amount, how do you explain to the ordinary Nigerian when we say Nigeria economy is flourishing and it's not broke?
Well, you need to put it in context, and I did explain to you, right? Now, what is the basis of the of these calculations? I don't know the basis of these calculations, so honestly,
I think
I cannot.
Basically, they're just saying you are owing me, and you've not been able to pay me 1, 2, 3, 4 months. The next conclusion is that Mr. Nweke Jr. is broke.
No, Suleiman.
You understand that? You understand the logic?
For me, that's not. I don't see the logic in it, and I can explain to you. Even I personally, I mean, I would have loved to share some personal experience with you, which I cannot. But there's something that I've been working on for the last almost 6 months. When I set out on this, I didn't imagine it was going to take me 2 weeks to sort it out.